talking about winter, talking about cold, talking about freezing, talking about chilly, talking about ouch. Young Thug, man. Young Thug, young Thug, young Thug. After all the back and forths, after all the leaked text messages, after all the leaked phone calls from jail, after all the drama, after the interviews, everything, I think the thing that's going to hurt him the most, is Young Thug seemingly confirming with the internet that Mariah the Scientist and him are broken up. Well, I guess Mariah the Scientist broke up with him. So this is courtesy of Twitter here. Young Thug posted on his Twitter account and said the following: "My baby, I was wrong and I'm sorry for what I put you through. You deserve better from me. Thank you for everything, and I'll do anything to make this work. You showed me what love is, and I hope I haven't lost you forever. Everybody leave her out of this, please. She's an innocent girl and feels bad about all of this. Please give her space." So he's kind of confirming to the internet that Mariah the Scientist most likely broke up with him off of the back of this leaked jail call that went viral just the other day, which I think is probably worse than the treachery or the fucking dishonesty or the heartbreak he must have felt from Gunna. I think his girl leaving him at the end of all of this is probably going to hurt him way more.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's ridiculous.
Why do you think it's ridiculous? I like it.
I mean, it's good, but, like, it still happens. Like, what? For like 2 years.
Yeah, it's definitely been 2 years.
Crazy.
Yes. When you plan on having kids?
Damn, Thug.
Like what age?
Can you get out?
Thug goes to the girl, "When you planning to have kids, at what age?" And she doesn't miss a beat. She spits the best riz possible. "When you get out, that's when I want to have kids. When you get out." Jesus Christ. Being a rapper, being rich and famous must be fun, man. You're locked up and you got baddies telling you they want you to dump absolute loads in them. Huh. Wish that could be me.
Tell you.
When you come home, I have kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So as you could imagine, when this got leaked, you'd imagine if you're Mariah the Scientist, you're like, you know what? Enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. And according to that tweet that Thug put out, she decided, you know what? We have to call time on this. And I have some thoughts. My first thought when I heard this was, Young Thug, I think, was essentially focusing on the wrong thing. Let's be honest. I know it was a RICO. I know it was a there was serious charges levied against him. I know he was facing football numbers, if not life in prison, if convicted. But a part of me just wonders, why was his focus so much on the outside? I've always felt like whenever people get locked up, it's usually a come to Jesus moment. It's usually a time for you to kind of reassess. Even if you're going to go back to living that same lifestyle, being on the street, being involved in crime, even if you're going to go back to that lifestyle, it's a time for you, a chance for you to reassess everything. Even your relationships, your fucking side pieces, your friends, your family, you reassess everything because you're forced to sit down, take stock and fucking whatever. But it seems like Thug was, and I'm sure there's a type of prisoner like this that exists in the prison system where you're not really letting go of the outside world. You're not accepting that you are now incarcerated and you have to kind of, deal with that situation and not really think too much about outside. Because you hear a lot from people who spend a lot of time in prison that it's actually not beneficial to have people visit you too much because it can kind of give you a false sense of reality. They keep updating you on certain things, but really you need to come to terms with the fact that you are where you are due to some of your poor decisions or whatever else it may be, or bad luck, whatever. And you're going to have to kind of come out a better person or reassess how you got there, reassess all your decisions that got you there in the first place, and hopefully come out a better person. But for Thug, for some reason, it seems like he didn't do that. It seems like he went in there and he was way more preoccupied and worried about what was going on the outside instead of dealing with what was going on in the inside. Don't get me wrong, he still dealt with it. His lawyers did a great job. He also did a great job, whatever it may be. But I think all of this drama, all of this tattletale, all this recorded phone calls of him on the phone saying crazy things about his friends, about his colleagues, about his label mates, whatever, I think was the consequence of him just not accepting his reality in that moment. not being okay with just being okay. I'm sitting down for now. This is looking kind of peak. Let me deal with this and then move forward. The other thing as well that's concerning about me with this is like, I think this phone call in general, in specifically this phone call, is exposing something that I think has kind of permeated all parts of culture, all parts of life. And there's this thing of like wanting everyone to see what you're doing. Like I kind of had the same thing. I went through the same thing where a few years ago, I was very big on like reading like 4 books a month, very big on like waking up at 6 in the morning and going for a run, working out sometimes at 6 p.m. in the evening in the gym. So doing 2 a days, learning a language, doing all these amazing things, right? To improve my life and to kind of, you know, expand my skills and whatever else it may be. And I'd post about this stuff online. I remember this one time I was doing it, posting all the books I was doing, and I was thinking to myself, why am I doing this? And obviously, I'm doing this because I want to show off. I'm doing this because I want to impress people. I want this because I want to put a certain view or message or image of myself out there. But really and truly, the stuff that I'm doing it only for myself. I'm not really, yes, there is a part of it that kind of concerns other people. You want to look good to fit in clothes, to maybe impress people, maybe to impress girls so you can fuck more girls and shit. You might want to run more to impress people, look like you're fit, so, you know, whatever. But in general, all the stuff that I was doing that I mentioned, like reading, like the working out, the content, whatever I'm creating, the DJing shit, I'm really doing it for myself, weirdly enough. It's very odd like that, but I'm actually doing it way more for myself than other people. That's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to stop posting this stuff and just like enjoy it for myself and not need to kind of share it with everybody else. But I think in general, my experience speaks to a larger issue that we've all kind of faced. The idea of like, are you doing this because you want to do it, or are you doing this because you want people to know that you're doing it? And if you couldn't document it, would you do it anyway? And I think this even applies to cheating. These days, for some reason, people like to cheat loudly. Like, look at the fucking example of those 2 people from that company recently who went viral for cheating during a Coldplay concert, right? That's a good example of it. That's an affair that happened in work. That happens all the time, right? There's always people having affairs at work. Like, if people don't think that's a common thing, that you're living under the rock. But there's always people having affairs in work, people getting off with each other at Christmas parties, summer parties, after hours. It happens all the fucking time. But for some reason, we live in a world where people like that at such a high caliber, well-known company are going to a Coldplay concert, one of the best known bands of all fucking time, and deciding to kind of, you know, enjoy their fucking affair in public like that. That goes to speak for the larger issue of people just not wanting to do things for the sake of just doing things for their own validation or for their own enjoyment. Same case in point with Young Thug. How could you be as big as an artist as Young Thug, as big as a rapper as Young Thug, as an icon, whatever it may be, and have this side piece that you're talking to in such a brazen way on the fucking phone while you're in jail, that's recorded when you know you have a long-term girlfriend? What happened to having a side piece and just keeping it quiet? Because I get the feeling Mariah the Scientist isn't a dummy and knows exactly what she signs up for when she's dating Young Thug. Because if I'm not mistaken, a phone call where Young Thug is allegedly talking about feet or something with a girl came out before. And from the same girl, I think. She's the same girl where she asks Young Thug, oh, will you be my baby or something like that, right? So she's got previous. They've got previous. And I think she kind of forgave him about that and they kept back together. But surely that should have been your first warning, right? Or just in general, just move a bit more discreet. But for some reason, we live in a world where everyone wants to do everything aloud and in public. Whether it's cheating, whether it's fucking enjoying something like going for a run, everything has to be documented, everything has to be fucking seen and observed. And I think that's the issue that we're facing. But on the other side of things, the older I get as well, the more I think to myself, like, it's actually way more swaggy, it's actually way more cooler. And I can't believe I'm even saying this, especially myself. I think it's way more swaggy and way cooler if you're a guy and you have control of your urges. I think it's way cooler if you're a dude and you're single to just chill and be single. I think it's way more swaggy as a guy if you're in a relationship to be committed and to be loyal to your partner and do it that way. It honestly isn't that impressive when you're out there doing what Young Thug essentially was doing with this girl, talking this way about having kids with her when you've got a long-term girlfriend. Because can you imagine how heartbreaking that must be for Mariah the Scientist? And I sound like a fucking woke cuck simp guy saying this, but can you imagine how heartbreaking it is for her, sitting outside waiting for this guy to be released from prison, praying all the time, hoping he doesn't get convicted. He finally gets a plea deal, he's out, he's free. You guys have now got time to make up for lost time, and reconnect with your love and shit. Share all these happy moments, and then these phone calls are coming out where he's telling girls that he wants to have kids with them. And God forbid if he ever had a conversation with her and he told her, hey, I don't want to have kids with you. Yet he's on the phone with other girls saying he wants to have kids with them. Fucking crazy. So I think I've got to a point where I think it's actually way more impressive for a dude to be control of their urges, to have what they call it, to have dick discipline, right? To have lust discipline, first discipline, and be able, if you're seeing one person, see that one person. When that's over, see somebody else. If you're single, chill. If you're in a relationship, be committed to that person. I think that's actually way more impressive, because the easy thing to do is to give in to your initial urges. Honestly, the easiest thing to do is to give in to your initial urges. But actually having some type of discipline, some type of self-control is way harder, especially if you're a man with options, especially if you're a man with means, with resources, like fucking Young Thug is, right? With fame and shit. It's going to be a lot harder to control. But I think if you are able to control that, you live a far better and simpler and easier life. Because these phone calls are fucking crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. And there was another phone call that came out too, where some guy, he's on the phone with some dude, I think maybe someone from his label, and he's basically telling the guy, oh yeah, no, the guy starts off the phone call by telling him, Mariah said I should pass on the message that she loves you or something. And Young Thug's, oh, thank you so much. And she was like, man, that girl really loves you, man. She really fucking loves you. And Thug is like, yeah, it kind of scares me. Like, she's kind of too into me. He's admitting this to somebody that works in his team on a jail phone, recorded. And then later on in that same phone call, the guy's telling him about, oh yeah, there's these 10 other girls that also hit me up to tell you hi or whatever. It's like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, Thug was really focusing on the wrong things, man. Sitting in jail, waiting for your trial to proceed, and then here you are juggling a million fucking girls at the same time. And, probably thinking you're so okay, it's not an issue. And look at how damaging it's been. Because, yes, the Gunna situation is bad as it is, but he comes out and look what's happened. He comes out and look what's happened. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But big up Young Thug, man. Big up Young Thug in some way. I kind of feel bad for him. His whole situation panned out the way it did. But I think this should be a message and a clear example to all people, like especially men. Have some discipline, man. Have some loyalty as well. Stick by your girl. If you're not with your girl, then if you don't have one, then enjoy being single, but also play the game correct. You get what I mean? This whole balancing 17 girls at the same time, I think it's a bit lame. I think that's kind of played out. I'm not gonna lie. You don't want people to like sully your name, think of you as a deadbeat, down for nothing kind of guy. It's just not something that you want to be put out there personally. But again, what do I know? Again, what do I know? Again, what do I know? Absolutely nada. I know absolutely nada.